You got to keep them separated. If you've got dreadlocks, especially if you've got young dreadlocks, you may be aware of the fact that, you know, they like to get cozy with each other. If you leave your dreadlocks alone for too long, you can find that they've started to knot together, especially at the roots. And if you don't go in and sort them out, well, then they can merge together, mat up, and before you know it, you wake up and you just have one giant beaver tail dread, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, in actuality, it takes quite a long time for them to get totally matted together, but if you want to avoid that, if you like the number of dreads that you've got, then you do need to keep them separated. And so how often do you actually need to separate dreadlocks? You need to separate your dreadlocks as often as they need separating. Now when you have young dreads, this can actually be quite often. When the dreads are young, they can be soft, have lots of loose hair, very prone to matting into each other, and so separating can very easily become a daily requirement. You may find that you have to separate your dreads every day to stop them merging with each other. People seem to really hate this, and I understand why. It's not all that pleasant. It can be painful when you're separating right down to the roots, and so a lot of people try to not separate all that often because I don't like it, but then, you know, the longer that you leave it between separations, the more difficult that it gets. So I would say that you should separate as often as you feel that you need to, and don't leave it too long if you're particularly concerned. I will say that it's easier to do when the dreadlocks are wet, so if you find it particularly uncomfortable, you have a lot of discomfort, you can do your separating after you wash them, as long as you find that that's often enough for you. If you find it particularly awful and terrible and a huge downside, you can rest easy in the knowledge that as the dreadlocks do get older, you don't have to separate them anywhere near as often. So even if you are in the camp of people that has to separate your dreads every single day when they're young to stop them from merging together, as they get older, you'll find that you don't need to separate them quite as often. They'll only need separating once a week or once a month, or now I'm at a point where I don't even remember the last time that I separated mine. I mean, mine all have Congoed together at some point in the past, so maybe not the greatest role model when it comes to separating, but once your dreadlocks have reached maturity, they're just not really gonna want to merge together as much, so separating is something that you just have to get past when the dreads are in that young and annoying phase. Phew! If you found this video helpful, useful, or informative, do consider giving this video a like or subscribing for more videos in the future. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Farewell! If you're having hair problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems, but the dreads ain't one.